Hey, how's it going? Did you know that most people live in countries, and that those countries require people to work and fix them constantly just so that they don't fall apart? To further this understanding of this strange way of life, I took it upon myself to take an internship at a local campaign so I could learn the ins and outs of how we decide which people should take care of our very way of life lest our society crumble in a do or die mentality. First off, what is the government, specifically ours, comprised of? Well, it's got this guy at the top called the president, but let's not talk about him. We're more like towards the bottom. That's not actually true. We're more like a whole other chart, governed by the government but not technically a part of it, only working to preserve our little slice of America, aka the municipal government. Before we start talking about my role in this mostly well-oiled machine, I'll quickly run down the positions of our city that people run for. You probably already know about the mayor, who sits at the top and puts in place the more important directives. Next, there's the council members, which act as the sort of Congress to San Diego, serving similar roles to the mayor but as a whole committee with their own amount of power and ways to perform it. Then you've got the city attorney, the county sheriff, and the county supervisor, just to name a few.
That's a lot of jobs, and only a tiny fraction of the city government. But today you won't have to worry about that just yet, because the only candidate I interned for was Jordan Bean, who ran for City Council Member District 2. Now, does anyone remember what a council member does?
Hello, my name is Jordan Bean. I'm a former candidate for San Diego's 2nd City Council seat. And City Council is a really important position here in America's finest city. Some have described it as the customer service department of the government. It's in charge of making your life better on a daily basis, whether it's fixing the roads, making sure that the zoning is done correctly, big land use decisions, also deciding how money is spent when it comes to the budget that is put together every year. So San Diego City Council and its 9 members have a big say about what the future of this city looks like, and that was one of the reasons that I ran for office.
Thanks, Jordan. So hopefully you get an idea of his position and the importance it carries in the present and future of San Diego. Remember, most of you probably live in San Diego right now. These elections are important in ensuring that the San Diego you want to live in is made, so you should not take it lightly. Jordan sure doesn't, and I won't either. So what exactly did I do to help Jordan in his campaign? 2 things. The first being canvassing. Canvassing is where you walk around a neighborhood which is participating in the election and attempt to secure as many votes from those who want what your candidate is offering. As in, we find people who are likely to be interested in Jordan's message either by their political affiliation or their age group, finding this information on a public registry accessed by a database by the DNC. When we find someone who might be a potential voter, we knock on their door and ask them if they intend on voting and who they are voting for, with the goal of presenting our own candidate for their consideration. If they don't answer the door, we just leave a recyclable flyer someplace secure, but not the mailbox. The campaign would drown in legal fees if we leave so much as one flyer in a mailbox without postage. The other thing I did was phone banking. Now, I won't talk about this as much since it's essentially the same thing as canvassing but over the phone, and also since there isn't much I can say about it. It was dull, tiresome, and neither I or the other person on the phone really wanted to be there. But it was important to the campaign, so I chugged along. Besides, on the phone I was stuck in my room, while out canvassing I was walking the gorgeous beach neighborhoods and admiring houses I could never afford. But aside from that, I really enjoyed my experience. I got to hang out with Jordan and his amazing volunteers, I got a first-hand look at the way people actually feel about local elections, and I actually felt like I did something worthwhile for my city. I have to recommend anyone who cares about the way our country is ran to turn their eyes to local elections, which often are just as important as the politicians that make the decision at the top are, maybe even a little more. If you really want to make a difference, anything from activism, volunteering for a campaign, or volunteering even for a public engagement organization can and will help make a change for the better, even if you sometimes fall flat. Jordan didn't win his election, but people just like him are present everywhere in this country and ready to do what's right given that the people will let them. In the end, our country is ran by people, which means that the more involved we are, the more is done. So remember to vote, Jordan, if you live in District 2 next election, and do what you can where you can. Our country depends on it.